Okay, Jeff's back, and I have decided to start a driver career. So that's a little bit of departure from your regular programming, which seems to be a lot of league racing recently. I don't know why. It just sort of struck me. Well, I think I do know why. We were in Will Lebowski's Discord, and he was talking about driver careers, and he actually said something about doing ten seasons, one season on each team, which I think would be fun. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to do that here, but you just saw I started with McLaren here because I don't want to be on the worst team. I definitely don't want that. I think it was sort of I have done on my team, and it was just sort of disappointing. You start as this terrible car, and you're fighting for 17th place, which is just not fun. And I'm trying to get the AI dialed in to a point where it's actually pretty good racing. So I thought it would be more fun to kind of be in a car that could fight for a win. Like you saw, Ricardo obviously got a win this year in real life F1. Norris would have had a win if things had worked out better for him. But I thought this McLaren car can certainly compete for wins, but absolutely should be in the points every race, provided nothing crazy happens. So that's what I went with. I started with McLaren and chose Ricardo as my teammate because I like him a lot, and said, let's just get after it. So you're seeing the first race here at Bahrain, and the qualifying I actually started on 88 AI, which is, I mean, you'll see it. I think it ends up being a little bit too easy. My lap, the quality lap that ended up actually working and being my final lap, which you're seeing right here, was about a second faster than Ricardo, which doesn't seem right at all. So I figured that I would bump it up a bit for the race, and I ended up going to 90 AI for the race. And I'll let you see how that works out. But, I'm just going to try to continue to dial in the AI here. So you see me with a 128.0, which is pretty good. Currently P1, provisional pole. But then you see in the final standings here that Hamilton got me, which makes complete sense. But all these other drivers probably should have gotten me as well. So I did decide to bump up the AI a little bit. You would expect me probably in the 5, 6, 7, 8 range, something like that. But you see me P2 here starting off the race. And I think I get a pretty good start here, okay? So get off the line pretty well. I'm keeping up with Hamilton pretty well. I'm happy with that. You see him go to the inside. I don't necessarily know what he was doing there. I give him a lot of space going into this first turn. I had a lot of success passing into turn 2 here throughout the race. Not there, obviously, but I do. I think I get a good go at him here. But you see Perez, Bottas, and Verstappen behind us. Ricardo, nothing to be said for him at the moment because he's not being treated well by the AI number that I gave here. So you see me get in front of Hamilton, and I know that I need to get out of DRS range as quickly as possible because I'm not going to survive long if he gets DRS. We're both on softs. He's got a better car than I do. The AI is probably a little bit too low still, it feels like. I'm on 90 AI, like I said. Still feels a little bit too low, but, feels all right. For the most part, I felt like when I was driving with these guys, it was generally fine. So, like I said, I'm going to continue to dial it in a little bit. I think I actually decided after the race that it makes sense to go to 95 AI. So I'm going to try 95 and see what happens there. That's the first number that is master difficulty, so I guess we'll see how that goes. It may be way too hard, but if it is, I'll just dial it down a little bit more, and we'll get to a point where we're feeling good. So ending this first lap here, I'm about 0.3 seconds in front of Hamilton. Seems like they've got a lot more straight line speed than I do. I mean, he doesn't even have DRS right now, and he's gaining significant time on me. I don't know if that's a function of my setup or what. Oh, another thing that was really sort of complicating the AI decision making for me was the fact that I feel like I'm pretty good at Bahrain. For me, this is a really good track. I've raced it a lot. I have done a bunch of league races here. I've done a bunch of career races here. You might expect that. I mean, every time you start on my team or a career or something like that, it's the first track, right? And it's just a track that I enjoy. I really like the flow of it. I like the layout. I feel like I'm decent at it. So I don't know how much that complicates the AI decision. I'm, of course, worried about moving to 95 AI or something, and then it turns out that this is my best track and I can never do well again. But, of course, we'll adjust for that. But anyway, it's a good track for me. So I feel like I'm pretty well positioned here to maybe have a pretty good race. You see Alonso DNF. We don't get a safety car. I don't know what the circumstance was there. Maybe that was a mechanical failure or something, and not some sort of crashing out. But I'm starting to build a little bit of a lead on Hamilton. I'm hopeful that I can get out of DRS range and really make a go at it. And my current strategy that we have set up is pit on lap 5 and go to the mediums. So I guess that's what, 4-ish laps on the softs, and then 8 laps on the mediums, which I think will be fine. This is a 25% race. I'm doing short qualifying, so one session. I've got the full practice session going. I think that's the only option actually in career in my team, because you have to do all the goals and stuff for your team to get the development points and all that. Maxed out the development points, which of course I don't know why you wouldn't. It's free points. Who says no? And I'm just getting after it here. And this is a really nice way to start off this season. I'm feeling really good on the track. Car feels like it's on rails, competing with Hamilton, currently in P1. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are going, and I managed to hold him off so far, which is nice, even with him having DRS. The bad news there, though, is that I'm using a lot of ERS to try to fend him off, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to end up not mattering anyway, because he's going to catch me. So it is what it is, I guess. You have to understand who you're racing and who your race is against. And that's actually kind of a funny thing. There's an option when you're talking to Jeff, the race engineer, not me, Jeff, the race engineer, that says, who am I racing? And I do that later in the race. And keep in mind, I'm in a McLaren, and McLaren and Ferrari, if you start a new season here in my team or career, McLaren and Ferrari are going to be neck and neck. They have the exact same car ability, right? And that's just like real life. McLaren and Ferrari are in this sort of second tier team battle right behind Mercedes and Red Bull. So I say, who am I racing? And Jeff, the engineer, tells me Stroll and Mazepin, which is not necessarily true. You see me almost make contact with Lewis there, managed to keep it out of him. I did sacrifice a little bit of time just keeping myself clean, so that was unfortunate. But again, I knew Hamilton was going to pass me. This was not a surprise to me. I just had to resolve myself to stay in range if I could. So you see me skip to lap 5 here. I kept it around half a second behind Lewis, but couldn't get any closer than that. You see me put on the mediums, 2.8 second stop. We're happy with that. And you see me come out right behind Schumacher. Yep. So fast forward here a little bit again to later in this same lap, and I'm having to go at Schumacher. He's not in a car that's as fast as I am. I know this. I know I need to get by him quickly because I want to come out ahead of Hamilton, because I know that Hamilton didn't pit on lap 5. I'm hoping that I can come out ahead of Hamilton. It's probably going to be a one-lap undercut. I assume that he pitted to match me on lap 6. I don't know that yet, but you see me take a go here. It's kind of risky to go inside on Schumacher like that. He did give me the space, so I took it. And that did work out. I was worried. I didn't want to sit behind Schumacher for another 2 or 3 laps. You know what I mean? So it was important that I get past him as quickly as I could. And I was a little bit worried that I'd made a little bit of contact, maybe clipped the wing or something. So you see me check vehicle condition. They say my tires are fine. They don't say anything about damage, so I figure it's fine. Coming now here to the end of the straight, Hamilton is right in front of me, and Hamilton's on hards. He's on hard tires. So I don't think in a 25% race, I can't see any way that it makes sense to go on a hard tires unless you have some sort of incident on lap 1 or 2 maybe, and you have to pit and change the wing and go to hard tires. I can't see any other situation where it makes any sense. So this is obviously a strategic blunder by Mercedes. You see a driving blunder by me there as I go way deep. Perez gets in front of me. Hamilton is still in front of me. Valtteri Bottas has the DRS on me, and he passes. So I'm 5th I'm on lap 8 here. So this didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. I'd hoped to get in front of Hamilton after he came out of the pits. I didn't want to be behind Perez. I didn't want to be behind Valtteri. I did get back past Valtteri, so that's pretty good. We're happy with that. But I am taking some solace from the fact that Hamilton is on the hard tires, which, again, doesn't make any sense to me, I don't think. And it would be interesting to see what had happened in this race if maybe Hamilton had come out on the medium tires for his second stint, but he didn't, so we do what we can with that. Lap 8 here, again, still half a second behind Perez. I know I've got DRS. Valtteri has DRS behind me. Hamilton looks like he's within range to get DRS, but, again, he's on the hard, so I don't think he's going to be – I think that we're going to be faster than he is for the balance of this race, I'm hoping. I am within nice range of Perez here, so I feel confident about getting him right here on this straight. I really think I can do it and take a go at Hamilton. So you see me turn on the ERS. You see me try to stay in the slipstream of Perez. I have the DRS, but Valtteri, I think, just got a slightly better exit there going into this long straight. So I go a little too deep, but it actually kind of works out pretty well. I keep better speed than Perez going around there and managed to get in front of him going into this next DRS zone, which I did have DRS. So I hit the DRS, and I didn't look back at Perez. He sort of dropped back there. And that seems pretty common. The AI seems to drop back pretty quickly after you passed him. I don't know if it's like an ERS strategy thing or what, but he did drop pretty quickly, and he is still within a second, but just barely. And I feel like I've got more pace than he does. So at this point, it's a race between me and Lewis Hamilton as far as I'm concerned. As long as I don't mess up, I guess, and Bennett put him into a wall or something like that. Got really nice speed here coming up behind Lewis, and I'm going to try to take advantage of him a little bit, and I do. I maybe shut the door on him a little bit. He backed out to avoid contact, and that was perfect for me. So I'm now half a second ahead of Hamilton. He's on the hards. Again, at this point, I know that I have to get out of DRS range as quickly as I can, because I think if I get out of DRS range, this race is over. I truly believe that. I've been running really well. My tires, I think, are going to be fine for the rest of the race. And I just know I need to get out of the DRS range of Hamilton, who's on the hard, so I should be faster than he is. And I should hopefully still be able to stay ahead of Perez in terms of DRS. So I do it going here. I'm a little over a second. It's up to 1.1, 1.2 seconds, almost 1.3 seconds. Yep, over 1.3 seconds. So at that point, it was smooth sailing. I just had to keep it all together and bring it home, and that's exactly what I did. So that is my first F1 race in this driver career. It is my first F1 win in this driver career. It could not have gone any better. Again, I'm going to up the AI a little bit. I'm going to go to 95 just because I think it feels like it'd be a little better. I maybe had a little more raw pace than I should have against some of these guys who are in better cars. But we are absolutely ecstatic about this result. What a way to start the career. And I think it all really comes down to the Mercedes tire strategy. Don't know why they went to the hards. Maybe they should really seriously rethink that. But hey, I'm happy with it. Jeff Skywalker, race winner, McLaren. We're going to see if we can keep that up moving forward. I don't know what the new AI numbers are going to do to that, but I'm absolutely going to do my best and see if I can continue to succeed. So you see me on the podium there. Really nice result. We love it. Next week, I think, is Imola. Yeah, Imola. So I should be back with Imola. I don't know. I think I'm not going to show like mechanical faults, whatever, but we'll be back.